Right. So good afternoon, Dr. Jeremy.
Good afternoon, Kumara, and good to see you again.
Lovely. It's a pleasure, sir. Always a pleasure to connect with you.
Thank you.
First and foremost, thank you for coming on board our first Play Wednesday session.
Yes.
And you are one of the anchor coaches and anchor mentors for our insurance playbook.
Yep.
And we are very, very excited to have you on board today. And a key part of the insurance playbook is, of course, it's a transformational platform, coaching and mentoring platform for financial consultants, agency leaders, to guide them and support them through their financial and insurance career. Right? And we have shared and spoken in great detail about how the playbook complements the advisors, regardless where they are in their journey. And we are very honored to have you on board today to kickstart the importance of coaching, of course, and where your anchor points are and where your strengths come into play for the insurance playbook when you meet up with our consultants and agency leaders. But first and foremost, please give us an introduction about yourself, sir.
Okay, Kumara, my pleasure. Yes, hello everybody. My name is Jeremy Gwee. I'm a retired banker. I spent 38 years in banking, and about 3 years ago, I retired from banking. And since my retirement from banking, I have picked up my hobby, which is in the area of personal development. And so I got myself that's why I did my doctorate, Kumaran. That's why I did my doctorate in transformational leadership and studied positive psychology and went through a whole host of coaching and training certification, including actor. So I'm a certified Gallup coach. I'm also a certified Belbin coach, team building coach. I'm also certified in Agile, as an Agile coach, as well as an Agile facilitator, organizational zoo, DISC, and points of view level 2 practitioner. You may think that I'm a junkie doing this. Well, I'm not so much of a junkie doing this. The reason that I have done all of this very extensive number of courses is because of my experience previously. When I was while I was working in places like in IBM and before I retired for 12 years with HSBC, we often get a lot of we are very privileged in those organizations in that we always get very good training in the sense that those organizations do splurge the money to get people to train their executives. But one of the things that I experience when I every time attend those training was that those training tend to be very product centric. That means if somebody comes to you with a particular methodology, that is the only methodology in the world that they tell you. And of course, that's not true, right? And so for me, there were many gaps about how we can actually train executive. And it is not just one product. It is not just one solution, but there are many solutions that you can bring them together. And in my conversations with many people, we discover, in my peers, we discovered that unless you have actually the actual experience in leadership, in the C-suite, in doing actual business itself, you will not be able to see how these solutions outside can actually benefit you and how you can use them in your in leadership and as well as in business development.
Right.
So in my retirement, I actually spent time attending these courses in order to fill in the blanks, fill in my knowledge gaps on all of these things, plus doing a postgraduate course in positive psychology, NLP, and all that thing. And I have more or less, therefore, been able to curate my own understanding of how I believe people in the industry can benefit from such programs. Such programs are good programs, but the problem with all these programs is that they do not contextualize it for the people. That's the first thing.
Right.
The second problem with these programs are that they are just training. And training, as I always shared with you, is very well and good about transferring of knowledge, upgrading skills.
Mhm.
But when the tire hits the road, when it comes to implementation, you find that the training is wasted. People revert back to their old ways because the training does not follow through with coaching. And so I'm very pleased when you first met me and talked to me, you actually, your approach resonated with me because you said, what can we do better than anybody else when we do training? And that was when we talked about, say, that we need to train as well as to coach.
That's right.
And in fact, now, in the last 3 years, I have been doing coaching. I've been coaching. Most of my coaching are one of the methods, either Gallup, Belbin, or DISC. I use one of the methods. People ask me why I do the assessment. The reason why I do the assessment is that it gives me a starting point to help the individual with his understanding himself and what gaps he wants to actually close. Without actually understanding the gaps, companies actually waste money in coaching because they expect the employee just to know what the gaps are that they need to be coached in. So the DISC, the Gallup, the Belbin, they're all good tools, but they help me in this way. But more recently, when I started business coaching,
Mhm.
I discovered especially entrepreneurs. I call it my founder to CEO series. Very bright people, good ideas. But when it comes to implementation and they come to me for coaching, I discover that their problems, how they articulate their problems, how they identify and articulate their problems is very patchy. It comes in various shots and very, and so it's very difficult as a coach to help them actually join the dots and also see the bigger picture and create a roadmap kind of thing. So I created a method together that I shared with you, which is I use the simple business canvas, which I love it. I've used it since I knew it since its inception.
That's a fabulous model, by the way.
Yeah, that's a fabulous model, right?
Right.
And it's a sad thing that people simply use that model and talk only in terms of startups.
Mhm.
You can actually more than that. That when you use the business canvas model, you are able to see your business end to end. Any business you can see end to end. And that is when you zero in to identify your gaps, right? Definitely the training has given you the knowledge, the skills in all the areas that the business canvas shows you, right? All the areas, because the business canvas end to end is actually the value chain,
Yes, that's right.
right? So if you think about it, so when I taught people the business canvas, I realized that, yeah, everybody found it great. But then when it comes to execution,
Yes.
they call on me to say, originally it was, hey, Jeremy, how do you fill in the blanks?
Mhm.
But the conversations then went on from filling the blanks to saying, executing, I have an issue.
Mhm.
Then I say, okay, why you have an issue? Oh, I have got this challenge, that challenge, and so forth. Okay, fine. And so I then found my tools, Belbin, DISC, Gallup, and according to how they choose whichever tools that I can give it to them, which is the most popular, right? These are the best kind of tools. Then I said, use one of these. Which one you want to use to find out where are your strengths? Then I could apply it in a unique way to understanding why you are actually facing these issues in your journey through the business canvas. And so I created this unique proposition of coaching through the business canvas.
Right, right.
And the whole idea, as I shared with you and with some of our friends, is that products deliver benefits, but the individuals deliver value.
That's true. So true.
Right? And that value comes from relationship. And relationship is as simple as knowing when the product will reach the customer.
Yes.
Knowing that when the customer has a question, clarification, how would you actually provide the response? Sometimes as the relationship manager, as the financial advisor, you are not the one. You depend on your back office. You depend on someone down the road in your value chain to help you bring that information to the customer.
Right.
So the business canvas is the financial advisor or relationship manager or client manager roadmap to know how to actually deliver this value, to actually enable, I use the word enable customer satisfaction. Make customer satisfaction happen by being in control of them. But all of them have got different talents, different strengths.
Right.
And so they will approach their problems differently. And so the whole idea of coaching is to help them overcome the challenges that they will meet in order to deliver value. This coaching would be a very productive coaching because the problem is not imaginary.
Yes.
The problem is
real.
The problem is something that the RM, the client relationship manager, or the financial advisor is somebody who actually faces it, and he can pinpoint which part of the canvas is he actually having the challenge.
Right.
All right. So when we develop the coaching with the canvas, we develop it into 3 parts. One part is about coaching to build relationships, because you need to know how your customer would react to you. And these are time-tested, evidence-based methods used in the industry before. Nothing new. Used in the industry, tested. People have used it and gone to the $1 million club.
True.
Right? They have done it before. So how then you use to understand your customer so that you can accommodate your customer? You can accommodate him emotionally. Yes. Emotionally. And we know the buying tends to be emotional. The perception of value can be also emotional. So the financial advisor, must be able to, understand the customer's emotional profile and deal with it accordingly. The second part of our coaching is based on Gallup's business, what we call business profiling, BP, where we help advisors to find out that when they need to build a business, when they, as an intrapreneur within the company, when they need to put all the resources together, what kind of a builder are they? Right? Are they a rainmaker? Are they a conductor? Or are they an expert? And this area of coaching is to enable them to make sure that they can size up the whole business canvas end to end. That means whosoever in the business canvas, whatever their strength may be, they can bring the total picture to the customer.
Right.
Then we move on, because more than that, nowadays in the digital world, our customers also deal with us digitally. We plan to have coaching, brand coaching, as well as the digital coaching. Why? Because part and parcel of delivering value is also impression. And the brand counts. Your brand counts. Your personal brand counts. Knowing your strength and so forth, good. You can exploit your strength to manage customers' emotional profile, buying psychology, and so forth. But this has to go in hand with branding.
Yes.
And our branding coach will help you do that branding.
That's true.
It's like putting on your shirt and your suit and putting on your best to see your customer.
That's true.
And last but not least is the digital coaching. That means to stay, how are you going to perpetually stay in touch with the customer?
Right.
I shared with you this story, Kumaran, that why I think this is important. Because during my working years, as I was preparing for retirement, for over 20 years, my insurance coverage, me and my wife, premium was about almost 50 to 55,000 every year. But our agents never stay in touch with us. That was the age of the brick and mortar.
Right.
That was the age you could do that. Today, you cannot afford to do that. Today, you got to stay in touch with them. And agents still don't stay in touch with me well enough.
Right.
Though I have one agent that is very good, right? She's very, very, very diligent with me, right? But I still, as a retiree, have got put together with my wife close to about 35,000 in premium.
Right.
So, definitely above the average, right?
Sure.
And so, how are our agents actually servicing us? As a user, I have developed this.
Right.
And I hope together with the collective, we can make a difference.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Jeremy. Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're sharing. And I just want to add on the interesting part of where the business canvas came in. I think that was very transformational even for us with the Insurance Collective. I remember about a month and a half ago or so when you ran through the Insurance Collective and how we could create or more or less modify the business canvas for the insurance business, whether it's for a financial consultant and agency leader, or even for corporate training. For that purpose, what we sort of went through was 3 different phases in the insurance playbook, right? Where we come on board as coaches and mentors, was to make it insurance-centric, target at the needs of the advisor, target at the needs of the agency leaders, and in totality, let them pick a route which best suits them, right? So the prepare phase was something that we have spoken about at length, and where you will be playing a very strong role.
Thank you.
Playbook coach on identifying the value chain or the value propositions that these agency leaders and consultants bring to their own business first. That's
yes.
the part that we looked into. And that preparation is where the diagnostics take place, right? I learned this very clearly from my own tenure in the insurance industry. It's knowing your client. Fact-find process.
Right.
In the reverse here, we are doing it in a way that defines their business processes.
Right.
Defines their strengths that they should be focusing on and looking at empowering themselves. You mentioned that keyword enabling. So that is a very key part of our prepare phase in the insurance playbook. And you said, put it when the tire hits the ground. That is where the actual play takes place. And we have our phase where we have our branding coaches, we have our events, leads acquisition, all these different ecosystems or support systems to enable these consultants and agency leaders to apply what they have learned.
Not only that, they have somebody to turn to us.
That's true.
Right? Nowadays we teach managers to be coaches and all of that, but we are not finding that as a pickup. because people still prefer to say, let's talk to somebody else.
That's right.
Let's talk to a third voice and let's see how that third voice kind of thing. And I think that was what motivated all of us to, carry on in this journey to say, yep, let's do something about it. So we all have been through that phase of our lives, and we realize how critical it is to have somebody around that you can call and say, give me an hour of your time, and then I have this issue. What should I do?
That's true, sir. It's also very essential for us to rightfully said, we all have spent time in this industry.
Right.
We have all come to love at some point, right? And when we understand the trials and tribulations that these agency leaders and financial consultants go through. One very quick point, sir. We are definitely going to have more sessions with you most Wednesdays.
Thank you.
And as I mentioned, a resident coach with the Insurance Playbook. We're very honored and it's a great pleasure. One point here I would like to ask you, sir, is that if we have, these financial consultants or agency leaders who have now stepped up to the plate in the past couple of years, unprecedented times, it has been really challenging for many people.
Right.
Not just for the experienced or seasoned consultants and agency leaders, but these rookie financial consultants, rookie agency leaders. How would this business canvas be so suitable for them? And how would the Insurance Playbook, especially with the business canvas, define their steps forward during such a time?
Right. Okay, let's start with the rookie first. Right. The regular training I have asked around the agents, I said, what do you learn? Straight away, they all talk about just about the sales pitch, and basically how to sell. Right? But nowadays, you just don't go out and sell. Right? That's number one. Number two, there's also ethics in selling. Right, you got to be ethical. That's why you got the FAA Act and all these things. You have got to be ethical. So there's the ethics, there's the regulations to be. But three is that it's time to move away from just selling and delivering benefits, as I say. You got to understand, for every rookie, they will want these days move up the ladder, and understanding how the product is eventually delivered to the customer is important. Understanding that the product only delivers the benefits, but they got to build the relationship to deliver the value. So back to my example, the agents don't actually come to you to deliver value with the intention to seriously create a relationship. And why is this relationship important? In the case of the insurance industry, it's a lifetime relationship.
So true.
It's not a transactional thing. Correct. It's a lifetime relationship. And when I was about to retire and I looked at my policies and I discovered that, well, I need to renew this policy, that policy. I did it myself, right? I discovered that some of them I could have done it earlier rather than later, right? So everybody is so hung up on selling, on acquiring a new client. And we all know from all our experiences that acquiring a new client is more expensive, correct, more costly than trying to, maintain service and resell to your current client.
I agree with you in that.
You get what I mean? It's as simple as that. I give you a simple example. Things like knowing that I'm reaching 65, there are certain cut-off I need to change. Nobody told me about that, right? Knowing, so the agents have not kept in touch, kind of thing. Knowing that I had a critical life policy since I was 30 years old, nobody did anything about that. They could have increased that over the years.
That's true.
They have done many things.
That's true.
Right? So for the rookie, this is important. For the so certain agents move. I know the agents, they all move up. When they sold to me, they were rookies. Now they're agency leaders. Guess what?
Right.
I discovered their problems was.
Right.
Their problem then is, look here, I got thousands over customers. That's where you go back to your canvas and say, who do I want to serve?
That's right.
And those that I want to serve, I serve. Those that I don't, I give it to my rookies. I delegate it down the line. And I keep the business within the family. But still, we have agents running around with thousands or hundreds, so as not to exaggerate, probably hundreds of clients that they can't service.
Right. That's so true.
So I hope the canvas will give them a sense, not just to sell, but to continuously look at the entire process of delivering value, of who stakeholders are, what activities are needed, and so that they can think beyond the product. Yes. And really be their financial advisor.
I agree with you, sir. Very well put, very nicely put. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
On that few parts, when we speak about rookies, right? I think all of us have been there at some point.
Right.
Industry, whether it's finance or insurance for that.
Right.
And you are right on the fact of the matter that the training is centered towards products. It's towards your prospecting and your referrals, and everybody does that. Everyone does that. But as a rookie, I think the key point here is to know that they are going to grow and evolve with the clients.
Yes.
The journey that goes on. And when a person is a rookie and then moves on to win more awards, accolades, gets promoted, and then moves on to an agency leader, it's a cycle that comes back again, right? And as a rookie, I feel that the business canvas and the playbook, which is then centric towards the insurance industry, because we have done that, right? In our sharing, we have created a mind map of what would a financial consultant as a rookie have as his business canvas. What would an agency leader have as his or her business? Right. So when we look at the rookie, I think they have great opportunity at this point. Great, immense.
In fact, not just great opportunity if you think about it. They will have a tool that they can motivate themselves.
That's true. That's true.
They don't need to think where the next sale will come from. They know when the next sale they will make with the same customer.
Correct.
Down the road.
That's so true.
I am actually very disappointed with many rookies in the sense that when I speak to them, they don't have a pipeline. Right? And if you don't have a pipeline, you are perpetually, you will exhaust yourself. You will be like the guinea pig running round the wheel, and you'll be totally exhausted.
That's so true.
The whole idea of the canvas is to renew, not just the value to renew your value proposition all the time, because your customer profile, your customer persona has changed. And when that has changed, not just is a selling matter, but what other activities must you make in order to accommodate the customer, in order to deliver the value proposition? Who are the people you need to work with to develop? You can't be doing that alone. And what other stakeholders do you need in order to help you? You have to treat, like what we said, every customer is a business.
That's right.
And a business is a going concern.
That's true. That's true. Thank you so much, Dr. Jeremy. I think
thank you, Kumaran. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time, sir. I think today we covered on the rookies to a certain extent. I'm actually very excited to roll out the next session. Maybe we will touch on the Mavericks and Legends.
Jen?
We can sort of redefine their business canvas. But just to end off on this note, sir, we are really looking forward to rolling this series out. #Play Wednesdays. At the same time, we are about less than a month away from rolling out our insurance playbook.
Right.
The insurance industry. So we are so glad to have you on board as our resident playbook coach.
Thank you.
And sincerely looking forward to a wonderful, wonderful time with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Advisors and agency leaders will gain such great value as
Thank you.
As well, sir.
Thank you.
you very much, and we
Take care. Okay, we'll see. We'll get me in touch. Yeah. Okay. Goodbye.